Hey Mompreneur, are you feeling overwhelmed by content creation? I totally get it. You have a million other things to do, and somehow your kids always know the best time to interrupt you is right when you start doing work. And by best time, I mean worst time. That's why I made the 1 month of Conversation Starters content calendar. It tells you exactly what to post so you can ditch the scramble and get back to what matters most. Your little home gremlins and your business. More time for you, more engagement for your business. Get your free 1 month of Conversation Starters content calendar today at sociallyyours.biz/content calendar. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Mompreneur Mastery. Today, I am super stoked because I'm going to share a conversation that I had with Amber Hansel. She is a lead generation mentor, and she's built a business connecting business owners to their ideal clients so that they can impact the world while reaching their highest potential. Her mission is to encourage and empower you to grow your business as a lead generation expert or enhancing your knowledge to allow doors of opportunity to open for you as you step into your CEO role. When she's not deep into connections, she's homeschooling her 2 kids on her small acreage in Alberta, Canada. And to keep her sanity through it all, she loves a good cup of coffee and a walk outside, which I think we can all relate to. I'm really excited to share this episode with you because we do a deep dive into the 4 buyer types that you need to know and how it's going to affect your engagement strategy to make sure you're turning your Instagram followers into clients. So you're not going to want to miss this. Welcome to the Mompreneur Mastery podcast, where we share actual Instagram strategies that fit into a busy mom schedule so that you can get more engagement, more leads, and more sales in less time. I'm Sydney O'Brien, an Instagram strategist who started my business with 3 kids under 5 and found a way to do it without sacrificing quality time with my family and only working 2 hours a day. I love helping other mom business owners find that seemingly impossible mom work-life balance instead of spending too much time creating content that isn't getting them the results they want. If you're an overwhelmed but very ambitious business owner and you want to strategize the heck out of your Instagram account so that you can save time and make more sales, you're in the right place. Just a heads up, you might hear some delightful background music in this episode at some point. That is a live performance courtesy of my resident DJs, also known as my kids. They like to, shall we say, add their own special effects to my podcast. But you know the drill. Those are the sweet sounds of motherhood, right? So grab your headphones or noise-canceling earplugs, no judgment, crank up the volume, and let's dive into this episode. Thank you so much for being here today, Amber. Very excited to get to talk to you all about lead generation. Can you tell us a little bit of background information about yourself, like who you are, what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Amber Hansel, and I just want to say thank you, Sydney, for having me on here. So I am a mom of 2 boys. I have been doing lead generation for the last 4, 5, I don't know, too many years, and now in the online space. And it's really just been about connecting with other people in the space. And that's where I think it's just been brought. I've always say like, social media is social first, and we need and crave human interaction and human connection. And so that's just so important to me that we keep bringing it back to that over and over again.
Yeah, I love that you talk about that in your content because it is like, it's very easy to get caught up in like the hustle and grind of like marketing for your small business, but you have to have like the social aspect for it to work for sure.
Yeah, I know. And remembering like you're building relationships, you're building trust with people. They are looking to you to help them. You can't just turn around and like be skeezy with it.
Yeah, for sure. I hate getting those easy messages from strangers just like coming in way too hot in the DMs, pitching themselves. Not that it's not okay to pitch yourself, but there's a way to do it where it doesn't come off that way, where it's not so aggressive. It's like an art form for sure.
It is. And I actually had one pop into my DMs, not following me, which is red flag number 1. And then she goes, "Are you looking for clients?" So this is a really good bait and switch that they use because they get you to say yes. And then they go, I can help you get them. And you're like,
Yes, I've
so
gotten
I
that
actually
one.
called her out and was like, nice bait and switch. I did see this coming, but you don't follow me and you don't know who I am. So why would I work with you?
That's a great point. I'm gonna use that next time someone does that to me. It's so annoying.
It is. And the fact that people still do this baffles me because there's so many people out there saying, stop doing this. But
Yeah,
yet they're still doing it.
and I can't imagine it works that well. Like, are they really getting clients from this and they still do it?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. There has to be some sort of ROI that happens in order for them to
Mhm.
keep doing it.
Yeah, interesting. And I know that before you got specific into like lead generation, you were a general social media manager. What made you want to switch?
It was really, I didn't want to create the graphics and the captions anymore. And the part I was doing engagement within my social media packages to begin with. And that was the part that I really enjoyed. And I liked finding new people to add into the audience and starting conversations. And so the aha moment was like when someone asked me, why don't you just do that? And I was like, I can just do that.
Yeah.
I don't have to do all the rest. And that's when things got simple kind of for me and really being able to niche down to something specific like that really helped me and my mom brain kind of focus a little bit more.
Yeah, that's nice. That is just like such a great part of social media management. I tend to more like the creating content, but there is something like really nice about the actual connections you make with people too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing to just know that we can connect with anybody in the world. It's kind of like this weird phenomenon. It's like we can do that.
Personally, we move around a lot because my husband's in the military. So like being able to connect with people who like kind of get the struggle of that and also keep in touch with people that I've met in other states is very nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, very
That's such
handy.
an exciting part about social media. And I live in a super small town. So it's not like I get out a lot. So it's kind of nice to have another community around me.
Yeah, for sure. There's like a lot to be said about the different communities you can find that you wouldn't normally find in person because you're not restricted like geographically. And now I've talked to a lot of mompreneurs because that's my target audience who are on Instagram for lead generation purposes, but no, they struggle with getting engagement. What would be your biggest tip for them?
Give more engagement than you want to receive. Because a lot of times, if you do not give the engagement, you will not always receive it. People want to be recognized. And we have to remember that what we post on our Instagram is not for us. It has nothing to do with us. It has to do with our audience, to do with our people. So, in order to do that, you need to be engaging with them, and it doesn't have to be, oh, I need to engage for like 2 hours a day. Like, it's nothing like that. You have 15 minutes in the morning and like 15 minutes in the evening. That's okay. You can get a lot done in 15 minutes. Mompreneurs, we know this.
Yes, for sure.
15 minutes is a lot when you are focused on engagement and not just scrolling.
Yeah, I find I have to be very like focused with what I'm doing and like remind myself. Otherwise, I'll just get sucked in and keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah, I do too. My phone has like an S Pen, like has a pen, and I feel like as soon as I bring my pen out, it means I'm in engagement mode.
Yeah,
So like,
nice.
sometimes we have to cue ourselves that we're not, okay, what am I doing here? let's focus and get this done. I have 10 minutes before the kids wake up, or, they're playing quietly. I'm not going to disrupt them.
Yeah. Yeah, normally the only time I can get it in is when they're like playing quietly by themselves. So it's nice to know that we can do it in like these small chunks throughout the day if we need to, and not have to take like 2 hours a day to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I don't think we need to put on pressure if like one day you don't do it. It's going to still be okay.
Yeah.
It will not crash and burn. It will be okay. Like I actually took the entire month of December off of social media,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's fine. It
Yeah.
was really good and I want to do it again. So
That sounds like such a nice like mental health break because social media can be so draining.
yeah, and it was becoming like not fun anymore. It
Mhm.
felt more like a job that it was like, I have to do this. And that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
I have things offline, email, not offline, but off social. So email and blog posts and things.
Right.
So it was very interesting to take that time. And if I did pop onto socials, I didn't engage. I was more just observing and seeing what was going on,
Mhm.
which also had a different like impact on, okay, this is really what people are doing.
Yeah. And what made you want to start your business in the first place?
We had just moved into a new house. I had no job. I was pregnant with my second. And therefore, I knew that all of my administration skills could be used in the online space. And I fell in love with social media, as we all do. And so I just took it from there. And it's just been evolving and continuing to evolve, and I don't think it'll ever stop evolving as to what I want to do in this space, as this space also evolves.
Right. Yeah, that's a really interesting point because it is like just constantly changing and new strategies and tactics popping up all the time. How long would you say you have to kind of talk with someone and engage with them before you're able to convert them from follower to lead for your business?
Yeah. And I like this question, but there is no right answer to this question because every person has their own story. And it really goes because each person buys differently. So we have what we call buyer types, and that
Mhm.
is really like your personality on how you buy something. So maybe you know right away exactly what you want, and you just go in. You're going to have people that are just in your DMs going, send me the info, send me the link. I'm in, done. Those are
Mhm.
people that we love, but they're like 2%,
Yeah.
and then we have the other people that they want a relationship with us. They want to really build up. And the more that you speak to people, the more often that you are in your DMs or on coffee chats or on discovery calls, the more likely that you are to convert them.
Mhm.
Because the more relationship that you're building with people, the higher chance of them converting and understanding how you can solve their problem.
That makes sense. I think I'm definitely in the second category.
Yes. And most people are in the second category, and that second category can actually be even broken down more. So there's four main buyer types that
Mhm.
I speak about in my content and everything. Um, One that I talked about that just wants the link, they're a driver because they really just they know what they want. They're going to go after it and they do it, and they don't necessarily need that relationship with you. They are just like, I'm here, this is what I want. You have my solution. Another, and they're very outgoing. They can be intimidating to some of those of us that are like, oh my gosh, what? You people do this? But we can't be intimidated. They just know what they want. and
Mhm.
it's okay. Another really outgoing buyer type is expressive. And the way I like to describe expressive is that bubbly business best friend that is like cheering you on all the time. They have a really good relationship with you. They're really outgoing and they just like continually are like know everything about your personal life. These
Mhm.
people sometimes can take a little bit to warm up to buying from you because they have such a personal relationship. So sometimes with them, you're gonna have to just like call it out. Say, I have this, I know I can help you with this. Here it is. Because they get so caught up within the personal side of things. The introverts of us, there's the analyticals, which I definitely am. We're very logical. We like statistics and numbers and, all of that. So when we're speaking to analytical people, their logical brain is going to take over and they're going to go, okay, so if it's this much for this long, this will be what is all happening within that. They're going to want that sales page to be so detailed,
Yeah.
So those are the people too that are going to ask a lot of questions and it's okay. You're going to have this solutions for them. Just to give them the answers that they want. The other introvert is amiable. So they once again want to build a relationship with you, but they're going to be a little bit slower because they need to build the trust and they're going to be a little apprehensive about things because they're just not sure about you, about what's happening in the transformation.
That last one sounds very, very familiar to me as a buyer.
Yeah, and you're gonna see yourself like fall into one or two of these buyer types. And
Yeah.
it also can depend on like what you're actually buying. If you're
Mhm.
going out to
It's true.
buy new leggings, like I'm gonna be a driver. I know what kind of like.
Yeah, that's a great
But
point.
if I'm like investing in a high ticket coach or something, I'm gonna probably be analytical, amiable together. I want a really good relationship with them and I want to know exactly what's going on in the container.
Mhm. That's good to know. You're giving me a lot to think about here. So, do you change your strategy like based on these buyers?
Yes. So you will notice in your audience what type of buyer type you will have because there will be a primary, like, 80% of your audience will be like expressive buyers. But
Mhm.
most likely, if you were like, well, I kind of see myself as an amiable, I bet the majority of your audience also is going to attract what you are.
Mhm.
There will be ones that are different, and that's why it's important to put out different types of content. Because when we put out different types of content, we can adhere to all the buyer types. So when you put out a case study displaying a transformation, that's probably going to be more amiable and expressive. If you put out like anything with numbers, analytical people are going to be like, "Ooh, what's that?"
Yeah. That's so
So
interesting you say that. I was just like mapping out a different podcast episode that I'm going to record soon about like the importance of repeating yourself in different ways and like how Instagram specifically and I guess other social media platforms, but marketing there is so much more about not saying a million things, different things, but finding like new ways to say the same things over and over to get all of those different kinds of people. But yeah.
yeah, it's really like that because we have different people in our audience and we need to bring them in. And then when you're talking to them in conversations, you can then just give them the information that they need because you're like, okay, this person is analytical. She's asking a lot of questions. Then you don't have to like beat around the bush. You can just give them the information that they want right
Mhm.
away, which could convert faster.
That makes a lot of sense. I hadn't I hadn't heard of like the different buyer types before like seeing you talk about it.
Yeah, I find some people will talk about it, but it's can be just like hidden knowledge that, or like everyone should know about this, but no
Yeah.
one uses it within the online space.
Well, that has been super enlightening, and I'm definitely going to be thinking more about that when I engage with people in DMs and stuff. That's like game changing information for sure for me. And now you have a freebie to share with listeners, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have the Rip the Band-Aid Off in the DMs freebie that's available on my website. It really goes through, it's just a quick guide on how to engage in the DMs, when to pitch, and really, build that connection.
Perfect. I'm sure people are going to get a lot out of that because talking in the DM is kind of like scary because you're always worried that you're going to come off as like pushy or salesy, which you don't want. So I'm glad you've made that resource for people. I'm excited to get it.
Things. Yeah. And I constantly update it too so that everybody gets like a fresh take because I
Oh,
don't want.
nice. Yeah, especially with Instagram changing all the time. That's very handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where can people find you on Instagram to give you a follow?
Sure. I'm at the Amber Hansel.
Perfect. And I will put links to the freebie and your Instagram in the show notes. Thank
Perfect.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Are you ready to know exactly what the heck to post on Instagram to get more comments so that you can convert your followers into leads? I want this for you too, which is exactly why I created my What the Heck to Post content map. It's designed to help busy mompreneurs know exactly what to post to save time on their Instagram content and get more comments so that they can connect with their followers and get more leads. Head to sociallyyours.biz/content-map to get 3 whole months of Instagram post topics that will generate conversations in your comment section.